Yo, what is up, guys? Joker here bringing you another video for the 3.25 Settlers of Kalguur League. It's that point once again where I'm essentially done with the league. So this is going to be my video going over my experience with the league and kind of what I'm going to be doing now, right? So first and foremost, I want to go ahead and do a huge announcement, shout out, appreciation post type thing, right? My goal for this league was to get to 1K subs. Like, that was my goal. I was at, I want to say like 760 or something before the start of SOK, and my goal was to get to 1K subs. And we blew past that, right? I was going to do something when we hit 1K, but we weren't really at 1K for that long. So then I was going to do something at 100 and 1100, right? But then we kind of straight, I didn't even notice me past 1100. And then I was going to do something at like 1250. And once again, it's not something that I really noticed. I didn't even notice I passed 1250. And then I looked and we're at 1360 already. So I'm like, okay, I need to take the time to address this because it doesn't seem like there's really going to be a pausing point. Um, so I wanted to go ahead, make sure that I do my little shout out appreciation to you guys. Thank you guys so much. 1K subs on YouTube has been a goal since I made the YouTube channel. Like, in case you're unaware, 91% of people have less than 1K subs, right? So this puts me in like the top 8% of channels on YouTube naturally, which is insane to think about when you think about how many people actually go on YouTube. So the fact that we have over 1K subs is insane, something that I'm extremely appreciative for. That's crazy. I have been doing YouTube for a little bit, and it's always been kind of like a whatever type thing, like, oh, if I hit 1K subs, that'd be super dope. But now that it's over 1K subs, I'm actually going to get money from them, which is weird. um But I wanted to go ahead and make sure I addressed that first and foremost. So thank you guys so much for helping me reach that goal. And then besides that, let's move on, right? Let's move into more of the my opinion on SOK and what I'm going to be doing going forward type thing. So, how do I feel about SOK and 3.25? I'm going to break this into two parts, right? SOK and then 3.25. The reason why I'm considering these as two separate things is one is going to be mainly centered around the league mechanic itself, the other is going to be everything else that we got in 3.25, right? So, SOK itself, I would say, is a solid six, 6.5 out of 10. Like, it's a solid mid-tier league mechanic. Is it the best league mechanic we've ever had? No. Is it the worst league mechanic we've ever had? Also, no, right? So I think it's a solid middle tier experience. I don't think it's like that great, and I don't think it's terrible. I've been saying this since day one, and I was one, well, not day one, but like week one, and I was one of the first people to finish maxing out my town, right? So I experienced like everything there was to do in pre and post buff slash nerfed SOK. And I still say it's like a solid mid. Um, Moving over to 3.25, however, I give 3.25 in general about a 8.5 or 9 out of 10. I think that 3.25 has Path of Exile in the best state that it's ever been. And the player retention and the hype around the league kind of do mimic that, right? The fact that there's so many people playing the league still, that there's still so many people talking about it. It's not really SOK. It's the fact that PoE is in the best state that it's ever been. We have received so many quality of life features that it's pretty much, like I said, it's the best that it's ever been. So I'm super happy and super enthusiastic about the current state of Path of Exile. we hit new player numbers for the first time. I'm sorry, not the we hit a new peak in 11 years, right? So the game's showing that it is continuing to grow in popularity and success. And I think a large factor with that is the amount of quality of life that they're putting into the game. So SOK is, while it may be mid, Path of Exile right now is in the best state that it's ever been, in my opinion. I really love the state of PoE right now. So let's talk about some of the quality of life that we received in SOK, right? We got the bigger pickup radius. We got the auction house, which I do consider the currency exchange to be completely separate from SOK because GGG's all but stated and promised us a currency exchange for a while, and they pretty much confirmed that it was going to be in this league regardless of what the league mechanic was going to be. So even if we didn't have Faustus, we would have had some kind of NPC or billboard or stand where we had the currency exchange. So I don't consider that as a part of SOK. In my What's Going Core video, I address this. I don't count Faustus as a part of SOK. Is he designed as an SOK NPC? Yeah, but if we were in any other league, he would just be changed to match that league. You could literally even just put up a billboard that does his same job, right? No offense, Faustus. But he was going to be in the game. The currency exchange was going to be in the game regardless of the league. Apart from that, we went ahead and we got permanent auras, which is such a huge quality of life, especially if you played any kind of character that does have multiple auras. I usually have to have my entire sidebar set up like this, and I every time I die, I have to return the auras back on, and it's so annoying. And if sometimes I forgot that I had them on, I would go back through and turn them off and end up dying because I forgot my auras were already on, right? So it's just such a huge quality of life that I don't have to care about that anymore. Apart from that, 3.25 had a rather large melee rework. And for the first time ever, I believe all of the archetypes do have a solid foundation. You can play a caster and have a solid build. You can play a melee character and have a solid build, and you can have a bow character and have a solid build, and all the spectrums in between here and there have viable builds, which once again go back to Path of Exile probably being in the best state it has been, where there is such a large amount of viable build diversity that we have that we've never really had before. So props to GGG there. Uh, Hopes for the future that they're going to go ahead and continue nailing it. The next thing that I want to really see is like an end game expansion. It's kind of been a while since we've gotten any end game content, and it makes sense. We did have to go ahead and help fill the early and mid game, but at that point, we have those filled out. Now we need to look more towards the end game once again because there's a lot to do in early and in mid game, but there's not a whole lot to do in end game. So we got to work on that. But yeah, overall, SOK 6.5 out of 10, and 3.25 in general, 9.5 out of 10. I really like this state of PoE. Moving on to the what's next type thing, and that's going to be pretty much what I'm doing. So, Araxer comes to old school RuneScape here on August 28th, and I've already set up with a friend to pretty much no life that for a while, and that's only next Wednesday. So, we're going to be grinding that super hard. And then once Human Season 2 starts here in September, once again, something that I'm going to be grinding super hard. If you haven't tried it, Once Human is super fun. Nightingale has a Realms Reborn rework, which is a game like Ark Survival Evolved if you've never played it, but more towards the ground of like fey creatures and mysticism, right? So like giants, fairies, demons, those type things. Um, and it's an open world survival crafting game. And up until this point, I've never really been able to really recommend it to people because I felt like it was in an okay state, but there was just too much lacking, right? So the fact that they're doing a Realms rebuild, pretty much reworking the entire game, I'm definitely hyped to check that out. And then we have Diablo 4, the season expansion for the Vessel of Hatred here, October 8th. I know, boo, D4 bad. Yeah. Okay. Getting past that. I'm actually excited for this because they've announced a lot of things at GamesCon. Essentially, there's going to be like a party grouping system for end game content. There's going to be a lot coming in the expansion. I kind of am a little bit invested in the story. I kind of want to see what happens with like Mephisto and the girl. So I kind of do want to see what's going on there. Um, and that pretty much brings us to the next thing, right? In case you're unaware, I have a second channel, J Chrono Gaming, where essentially I do, I guess, survival crafting videos. A lot like I do for Path of Exile, a lot of new player tips and tricks, guides, stuff like that. And it's for games like Once Human, The First Ascendant, Pow World, right? Nightingale, pretty much anything that's not an ARPG. I go ahead and I put it over here. And this is majority of the time where I get anything that I will actually be streaming, which is another shameless plug. This video is going to have a couple of those. Sorry about that. Um, where I go ahead and I'm pretty sure I should really like knock on wood or something, but pretty sure that I'm going to be able to stream starting here pretty soon. Life has been incredibly hectic for me, and my stream schedule was increasingly um diverse is the way that I'll put it, where it wasn't really a schedule. I just tried to stream whenever I could, and it would have me go like weeks or months without streaming. But fingers crossed, life has calmed down enough that I'm able to go ahead and start streaming again. And the reason for this shameless plug is I am more than happy to answer questions about Path of Exile, like if I'm streaming and I'm not streaming PoE. If you guys have questions, I definitely will go ahead and still try to help you out, type thing. That way it can help me engage with you guys better, as well as I have been kind of debating making a Discord to merge the two channels as well, that because at this point we have like 2K subs between the two channels, so about 2,000 people over the variety of games, and this would go ahead and allow you guys to interact easier, and it help you find groups if you did play those other games, right? Because a lot of them are multiplayer games, so help you guys like try to intermingle and find groups and stuff, because that's like always the worst part of multiplayer games is having to find the people to actually play with. But that's something else that I've been thinking about. But if that's something that's wanted, I'd have to do research on like how to even make a Discord server and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's going to be rounding out this video, kind of my opinions of SOK 3.25 and what's going to be happening going forward. So this channel itself is probably not going to have a whole lot of content here in the next little while, at the very least, probably until Vessel of Hatred or we get more PoE 2 news, right? Those are probably going to be the next things over here. Everything that I do and focus on is going to be going on the other channel. And like I said, I'm going to be streaming more, probably, maybe. I don't know. Don't quote that. It all depends on life, right? But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date with this and future content. And until next time, take care.